out of Melbourne. And the director of Teletalia, before he got bought out, he called me and my cousin, which was the time we formed a publicity company, to see if we wanted to handle the advertising for the network, for the station, which we did. And then what happened was that the bigger fish, the Australia's network, swallowed Teletalia, bought them out, like it happens in business. So we end up navigating in bigger waters, and the little Teletalia Melbourne became Teletalia Network, Australia-wide, and I became the head of production for Melbourne. So we would handle my company, at the time it was called Seva and Logs Media, handled the news, the 6 days a week news, the evening news. We handled the current affairs shows, interviews, commercials, religious programs, all from Melbourne. But that didn't mean that I wasn't doing music. I was still doing music at the same time. Very hectic, let me tell you, between running a production house that operated Australia-wide and performing music. And at the same time, I was also teaching music at the time in schools. So I had to let one thing go, so I let the teaching go, because it was getting too much for me, and concentrated more on television. And that way I had production crews in Sydney, in Brisbane, in Perth, and in Adelaide. So I could create a wider spectrum of the programs around the country, for the country to see, concentrated always on Italian happening, Italian events around the country. Unfortunately, that in I think it was 98, it all went down the tube. The big Australis, big fish Australis went down the tube in receivership, so everything fell apart television-wise. I don't regret it at all, because I was able to concentrate again in what I like doing, music. But at the same time, I learned so much out of the working in television and being the director of a production house. So it taught me a lot of things about advertising, proposal writing, sponsorship, and all that experience I put it into the music business, which allowed me to create my own music company, which is Random Acts Entertainment, and unlike a lot of other music business or agencies, I deal solely on costume entertainment. So my musicians go out dressed up in all sorts of equipment, all sorts of gear, from Mexican mariachis to French musicians, to Italian godfathers, to Italian gondoliers, to ancient Romans, to middle-aged 15th century Florence musicians, to 90s or 80s rock bands, all sorts of themed costume, which seems to be very in vogue at the moment. I can't complain. My turnout of work is quite good. And then in 2004, I got asked to be the musical director of the then Jupiter's Casino on the Gold Coast. That took me away from Melbourne for a couple of years, and I was the musical director of the show, the casino. Well, actually, I had done about 15 shows previous to that, but this was the first one that went actually at the casino, or the second one at the casino that I produced, but the first one that actually got asked to be going up there and to have a live part in the production of the show. So I recruited musicians from Melbourne and from the Gold Coast and Brisbane, and they created a band that worked on the show. And the show was originally booked for 12 months contract, ended up being 2 years up there, and I must admit I loved it because the show was great, interesting. Of course, I'm a goer, so I didn't just stop the show. I just started teaching up there as well in a couple of schools and doing outside jobs while I was doing the casino, because Sunday was my day off, and I just happened, after 2 weeks I was up there, I got asked to do a regular Sunday job in Surfers Paradise, so I ended up doing it for 2 years, this job. So that was where I worked. Plus my contacts in Melbourne were still active, so I would write a lot of music on the Gold Coast from artists in Melbourne. Jesus, I've done a few things. So I came back here because I got married again. So I came back here with my new wife, back to Melbourne, and I got more involved with Random Acts Entertainment from 2007, 2008 onwards, because I saw there was a need for professional, let's call it street entertainment. And also being themed, I'm very particular about dressing. Not that you can tell by me wearing a t-shirt this morning, but anyway, I'm very particular about musicians dressing up properly. So I would dress out the musician from head to toe, basically, including shoes. And as I said, I'm still doing that very much so. And if you want to check my website, www.randomxentertainment.com, and you can see all my costumes on and videos of the costume of the musician playing and photographs and so on. And today I have another interest, which is my Rob Severini duo Solo Musica Italiana, which is a duo that I created in 2012, which being Italian born, I get to do the songs that I grew up with, which they're not really your mainstream Italian songs that you hear in Australia, but they are the music of the hit parades of Italy from the 20s, 30s up to now, and that's what I do. Unfortunately, I do that for non-Italians. Most of my clientele is either Chinese or Korean or Japanese or Australian. They're not Italian whatsoever. But the music seems to be palatable. It's likable. It's fun. It's happy. But that's the ingredients. I do tend to explain sometimes before I start the song briefly a dialogue on the meaning of the song, so it gives a better, people which don't speak the language, gives them a bit of idea what I'm singing about. However, it does seem to be successful. We're in demand, and I don't mind doing it. Music that I like doing. Actually, the more I do it, the more I discover songs that I've forgotten about when I was growing up in Rome. So I put it back into the repertoire for new, even for my own benefit, so I don't get bored singing the same songs all the time.